Hey Kaiju fans, so today we'll be taking a look at a hobby magazine that's very popular in Japan. It is called Hobby Japan. This particular magazine is the Plus version, Volume 2, and this came out in 2007. The first section is a focus on Godzilla models and things of that nature, so we'll just go ahead and take a look at that now. So this first page is Godzilla Raids Again from 1955. This is Anguirus and the second coming of Godzilla, if you will. And I really like these kinds of models just because it's a diorama style and there's so much intricate detail that's put into these pieces. So it's not only just the characters themselves, but also the setting, which I really do enjoy. Alright, so the second page kind of breaks down the model set itself. I think one thing that's very clear to me when you consider the models, Godzilla models and Kaiju models in general, is they are very, very detailed, but they're also very delicate as well. So, I mean, just having built a few Godzilla kits myself in the past, maybe not to this high degree of quality, there's a lot of care and craftsmanship that goes into making, I guess you would call it, living creatures as opposed to just like machines, like tanks or ships or planes and things of that nature. So this diorama is very representative of that. But you can already see here at the bottom the entire diorama in 1/350th scale, and this is again from the 1955 movie. So this next page, it looks like these are the figures themselves. They're resin kits. As mentioned before, they're 1/350th scale from the scenes that we just showed. And also, there's this terrific King Ghidorah 1968 model kit. It's from Destroy All Monsters, which basically put the entire Kaiju kingdom, if you will, against Ghidorah for the most part. And this is a really terrific kit because it's Ghidorah mid-flight, held up by this metal prong, if you will, but there's also a base, and yeah, it looks really, really menacing. So here's the Destroy All Monsters scene. I think this is almost like an exact replica of a shot that was in that particular movie. So, you know, to just kind of go through all the characters here. And by the way, the photography looks awesome. It looks terrific. It looks like you're literally in the scene itself. But you have, of course, Godzilla, you have Varan, you have Manila, you have Anguirus, Manda, Mothra, Gorosaurus, Autogon, Rodan, the spider guy, can't remember his name, and then there's King Ghidorah as well at the center of it all. Okay, so this is the 1962 Godzilla from King Kong vs. Godzilla, the Japanese version here. Looks pretty good to me, I'd say. I think it's very representative of what's in the movie for sure. So this next page, it looks like these are sculpted by a company called Shinzen. I do not know if they exist anymore here in 2025, but they were pretty prolific in the Godzilla model crafting business some years back, and namely certainly 2007 and before. But now we're kind of progressing over into the Heisei era, and this is Godzillasaurus from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah 1991. Very unique kind of dinosaur looking figure. Great sculpt. And then we also have Godzilla 1991 here with a kind of a scowl, if you will. This I do like this particular sculpt, although I don't think I've actually seen it in real life at model stores, whether it be here in the US or even in Japan. And it looks like there's these small figurines here, maybe not to scale, but kind of funny and comical. So now we're getting into these what is called the Godzilla Complete Works, and these are crafted scenes from a variety of Godzilla films. In fact, I think there's basically some remnant or representation of every Godzilla film that was released to date. This one is, actually all of them are crafted by Yuji Sakai. They're released by Bandai, and as you can see here, all of them recreate scenes from a variety of movies, you know, starting in the 50s into the mid 60s and then heading into the 70s. And as you can kind of gather from these images, they're terrific. They're incredibly detailed. There's so much sort of context that is provided in every single scene, so it's not just, you know, Godzilla standing in sort of a random kind of innocuous pose, but you can actually recall these scenes from one of the movies, and I remember each of these scenes vividly. And these figures are about 3 inches tall, and fortunately for me, I do have all of them to my knowledge, so they're a terrific acquisition to anybody's collection. All right, so now we got Gorosaurus. Nothing really that I can provide further detail about this one. Obviously, I wish I could read the Japanese, but it's approximately 30 centimeters tall. And in addition to that, we have a 66 Godzilla and a 74 Godzilla as well on top. Okay, here's another one. This is a 1954 survived version of Godzilla. These ones here take a bit of liberties when it comes to the actual look of Godzilla. There's no Godzilla movie where he is represented exactly in this way. It's sort of somebody took some artistic liberties into kind of recreating maybe the best versions of Godzilla and sort of putting them together. Personally, would not be the one collecting these kinds of figures because I like the ones that are more representative of the movie. But nevertheless, if you are a Kaiju fan and you kind of like art pieces and maybe stretching the limits of Godzilla and what he looks like, I think this would be a terrific piece to add to your collection if you can. It is a model kit, so it may still exist out there on the internet somewhere, and perhaps it's even sold as a completed model as well. Alright, so we're going back to the original. This is a 54 Godzilla when he bites into the passenger train. I don't know if I've ever seen a model kit with this particular scene where he's actually holding onto the train. The train's literally in his mouth. I think there's other model kits out there in which he's biting into, let's say, an electrical pole, or he's grabbing a hold of a bridge or something like that. But this one looks pretty cool. I haven't had the pleasure to see this in person. I'm sure it does exist somewhere, but it is a model kit and would require quite a bit of investment of time to make it all look right. Okay, moving on to this next page here, we have a pretty large Godzilla head here, which is a resin kit, 1962, from King Kong versus Godzilla. I do like these heads. I've never had the ability to purchase one because they are prohibitively expensive, particularly if you're going to buy it all painted nicely like this. If I can sort of make out some of the language here, this is 220 meters tall, I believe, so it's a rather large head in terms of scales, not just a tiny little figurine, if you will. But yeah, I think there's a lot of painting involved with these, particularly with like airbrush, and certainly if you're a model builder, you'll understand the challenges of trying to put together an animal, recreating it as opposed to, let's say, a machine or so. So I think this is a pretty cool rendition of that Godzilla. Okay, and then off to the right here, we have some images from Wonderfest. And for those who are not aware, Wonderfest is a convention every I think it's about a few times a year, in which Godzilla products are officially licensed to be sold for these events, and the artists and creators get basically trademarked by Toho to then sell Godzilla officially sanctioned products, because there are a lot of garage kits and folks are literally working out of their houses or maybe their domiciles, and they're putting together some of these awesome models. So I unfortunately have never had the chance to go through a Wonderfest, but hopefully in the near future I will be able to. And here's some additional images from that Wonderfest with some of the models that I just showed you, but then also some of other folks' creations as well. Okay, yeah, that was basically it. The rest of the pages are more just general hobby supplies and other model kits. But yeah, hopefully you liked this content, and if you did, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you'd like, please head on over to our website, KaijuKingdomCollectibles.com. We sell all kinds of Godzilla products, and hopefully we can match some of those products with you, other Kaiju fans. So until next time, have a good one.